And look at that. That Klein is heavy. Look at that, fellas. That Klein is heavy and it stands on its own. So what up, guys? CP the Tool Addict. Me and Henry are out here in the garage. He's camera shy. What do you want to do? You want to go for... Come on, let's go! Oh, yeah! He's excited, and he's going to block the mic, so I apologize. Can you just sniff into there? Say hello. He's going to sniff in there. Say hello. Look, whenever I get him on camera, he gets really shy. We got another great video for you. Oh, you're such a good boy. He's a little naked right now, too. I've been keeping his collar and stuff off him, so he's just... Are you excited? Are you excited, everybody? Do you want to go? Do you want to go? You want to go? Come on, get down here. Let's go. Let's go. He's excited. I've just been keeping him naked. Anyways, enough rambling on. Thought maybe you guys want to see Henry. He's got his little bed here, but we got a great video for you. This was asked for by several of you, and we're going to talk about screwdrivers. Now, I will say, before I get into this video, full disclosure, if you don't like the way I do things, that's fine. I'm not really too concerned about making a project farm or a torque test channel type video, and I just don't have the time for it. Those guys are putting in a full week of filming, okay, and when their channel has millions of subscribers, hundreds of thousands, millions, and they're making tons of money, so they can do that. I myself have to work a 40-hour week job. So I'm giving you my experience, which what I charge people for my experience is usually more than what you're going to pay for watching this video. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. All right. So I have a massive amount of screwdrivers here, and I'm not going to lie to you. I have these all in sets. I have 2 sets of these. I have 2 full sets of snap-ons. These are all the Mac ones I have. I have 3 of those Mac ones. I have 2 full sets of Cornwells. I have a bunch of Kleins. I have a full set of SKs. I have 2 screwdrivers from Doyle. Top tool, MichaelPro, and vessel. I do not have a complete set of vessels. So I guess I lied. The last 4 one, but I'm gonna give you my top 5 on the screwdrivers and talk a little bit why. And we're gonna run right through this. Now I'm gonna try to keep this down under 15 minutes. So we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna separate this out in a couple different categories. First of all, I'm going to do top tool truck brand, and then top DIY brand, and then best brand all around. How's that sound? So once again, I'm not a big fan of doing the number 1 because I honestly don't think that a lot of these, once again, a screwdriver is much like any other tool out there, doesn't always exceed in every single category out there. If you're using it on machine screws, there's a ton of different screws out there. And these videos are very subjective when you're calling something number 1. It's because a machined head, button head screws, different screws out there, roofing screws, tin screws, whatever screw kinds there is out there. If you're getting screwed, I'm getting screwed, we're all getting screwed, we might need a different screwdriver. So that being said, it's just hard to actually put a screwdriver. I mean, electricians will tell you that Klein is the best. Mechanics will tell you that Snap-on's the best. DIYers will tell you that Doyle or some other brand, Gear Wrench or whatever is the best. And to be honest with you, I'm just telling you what I find that works the best all around. So with that being said, I have some Mac screwdrivers, and these are all number 2 Phillips. Another thing I want to tell you about is the 90% of the stuff that's done here, we're going to do this all with number 2 Phillips. Because you have number 1 Phillips, which I do have one number 1 Phillips. I apologize. That's the only one I could find. I lost my number 2 SK. But all these are number 2 Phillips. Majority of the stuff you're going to use a screwdriver for, this is all you need for a screwdriver, is number 2. And you might need a long and this. Like, you could get away with 3 screwdrivers. You don't have to buy a set of screwdrivers. That's the best part about it. Like, people buy full sets of screwdrivers, and slotted screwdrivers, that fastener is not usually relevant in a lot of stuff anymore. So you get all these different flathead screwdrivers in stuff, and quite frankly, they just end up being pry drivers. So let's talk about the Phillips screwdrivers. Now, Max Screwdrivers has a couple different varieties, and I built this little test block here to kind of give you a little. I want you to watch the tip of my fingers when I'm just kind of letting it in. Now, once this starts getting in, and I'm trying not to put any pressure on this and using the tip of my fingers, is to talk about when slippage goes here. Let me see here. Once I start getting some pressure on this and when it starts camming out, that's the biggest thing about a screwdriver. Of course, it's not gonna, but right there, like when you're talking about, I'm talking about camming out, what camming out means is when when your screwdriver tip slips and it pops out of there, like so, camming out. What screwdrivers came out? Now, I do not think the Mac ones are all that great. They seem to cam out quite a bit. These are better than the old ones. In fact, when I'm talking about the old ones, let me go ahead and break out this one. This is a very older style. This is 20 years old. But and the other thing is reversing a screwdriver out. A lot of people, when you're wanting to take screws out, a lot of people forget that screwdrivers tend to not be as good on reversing a screw. See that? And we're going to talk about that today. So putting them in is one thing, but you always see these tests where people are, doing tests on screwdrivers, but they never talk about taking a screw out. And so I want to use as little pressure as whatnot to see if this is getting in there. So we're going to look at a couple of screwdrivers and see which one kind of does the best. Now, the old Matco, I have been using these. Well, this is a new one because I actually broke mine. I actually like the Matco ones because, as you see here, both the Mac ones, I found did a great job putting the screw in, but then when you went to back them out, they cammed out more. That's a problem because you strip the screw out. Where the Matco definitely did a better job for me initially, in my opinion. Putting a screw in is usually sometimes not that bad, but taking them out, that's where it really matters. A lot of you guys are taking more screws out than you're putting it in. Now, my favorite two screwdrivers, I would have to say, for tool trucks are definitely going to be the Snap-on. When it comes to putting it in, you notice my hand is way up at the top here, and it's easily taking it back out, and you see no camming at all. The Matco slipped, and the fitment on them is super tight. I've noticed they've held up really good. The Matco and the Snap-on are really, and not only that, the price on them is really, they're about the same. And you can see right here, no hands. Look, Mom, no hands. No hands. The screw is standing straight up in there. The Snap-on will do the exact same thing. See if the Mac will do it. And the Mac will not do it. That's how you can tell it's supposed to be a number 2. The Mac here won't do it. This Mac will do it. It is a newer one, but it's a little loose. I will say the fitment on it's a little loose. I do like the Max screwdrivers, but when it comes right down to splitting hairs, boys, the Matco and the Snap-on, you can see how that one fits in there. When you can see when my hand leaves, how it just sets right in there. Oops. My only biggest problem is, and this is a German screwdriver, so it's not actually made by Matco. It's actually rebranded and made by Witte. So, yeah, when it comes to that. Now, let's look at the Cornwells, because we ain't giving a fair shake unless we get the Cornwells in here. Cornwells kind of do the same thing. Now, I do notice that they work pretty good going in, and I do like this older square. This is the older version, and they do hold up pretty well on reversing. Not too terrible. Now, are we getting a bad screwdriver with this stuff? No, they're 10 times better than what they used to be. The new Cornwell screwdriver, it actually does a lot better. One thing I've noticed, it fits in there a lot tighter than the older model, and they do have a bolster on them. Some of these didn't have a bolster. Oh, I guess I got the long ones here. These, I got the really long dong. It ain't gonna stand in there. Let's see if the long Snap-on one will stand there. Oh, geez Louise. I got this on an angle on purpose because I wanted to see if these tests would work. Because that really tells me a lot about the screwdriver. The long one's got too much weight on it, but the Cornwell does fit pretty nice. A lot more snugger. It hugs a little bit better than the old style Cornwell ones did. You can see right there. There's no trickery, no camera doozles, no cuts, no whatnot. Just giving you my baseline my baseline opinion and actual factual stuff that I've used these on. So moving right along, when it comes right down to it, my two favorite screwdrivers, and I honestly, I have the old set of Matcos, guys. This is a new screwdriver because I broke my old one. The only problem I would say why I don't like the Matcos as much is I have broke these quite a bit. Way more than I have the Snap-ons. And Snap-on replaces the shank. Everybody knows that. But these screwdrivers... Now, the other thing, too, I want to say about the Snap-ons is their shaft is really, it's kind of soft. It bends. I don't have it twist as much. Not really sure what the science is behind that, but I'll tell you what, the Mac ones are super strong. You will never break a shaft on a Mac screwdriver right here. I promise you that. But yeah, so when it comes down to screwdrivers, I'm going to say for the tool truck ones, for you guys that are looking, the Matco and the Snap-on are probably my two favorite ones. The new Cornwell ones are probably right there, number 3. So 1, 2, and 3, I would say that. Let's move right along to some other ones here. Let's talk about some tradesmen and DIY stuff. Everybody got these Doyle ones when they come out, and they're really healthy. They work good for a mallet. If I was an auctioneer, well, give me 4 now, give me 5 now, give me 10, give me 5 out. They do feel, they're not too bad. They have a little good feel and strike-through cap. They're a demolition screwdriver, and they do fit pretty good. They're pretty beefy, not going to lie. They definitely do some decent gripping. They're not a terrible screwdriver. But once again, I don't use as many screwdrivers neither as I used to because I use bits now, bit drivers and bits. The old Klein is definitely a staple in the old... let me get a number 2 in here. The Klein is a staple. You have a hard time telling an electrician there ain't a better screwdriver than a Klein. And look at that. That Klein is heavy. Look at that, fellas. That Klein is heavy and it stands on its own. So Klein has some really good bits. And, man, it does feel very confident turning it in. So Klein is definitely one of the clear cutters here. The other screwdriver that I really like, I actually like this better than the Doyle, is the old... top tool. These are some nice heavy duty screwdrivers, and boy, they're stout. Now I will say they don't fit as nicely as I had hoped they would. Once again, people, keep in mind this is subject to the screws that I'm using. The fitments are not as nice. You can tell a huge difference with this Klein screwdriver, how nice this screw fits right here. I mean, it just really stands in there. The other one that I was kind of impressed with, but it's a little bit lighter, you can kind of tell right off the bat, is the MichaelPro. But the MichaelPro stands up in there. And these are $29 screwdrivers. They're a little bit lighter than I would normally like. But I'll tell you what, for a budget price, a set of these MichaelPros for $29.99, you ain't going to have a bad set of screwdrivers, I can tell you that. If you had to put a gun to my head and tell me which one I was going to choose for a DIY screwdriver to be the best, I'm going to have to go with the Kleins. Now, Kleins aren't all made in the USA neither, so, and you're not probably going to find, once you get under that $50 budget for screwdrivers, you're not going to come into that. I like the MichaelPros, but I do say that they're pretty light, but I really like these. These are these top tools. They do a pretty decent job. In fact, the thing is, I think the machine screw that I'm using here is a little bit, or wood screw I'm using here, might not be as good of a screw for this as something like a machine screw that you normally see in a car. They might be better built to automotive, but the top tool screwdriver is just a beefy unit. Strike through, a lot like the Doyle. I don't know, I like a screwdriver with a little bit of weight to it, just because when I'm bearing down on it, I can really get in there. So, but the old Klein screwdriver, she's a nice unit too. Now let's get into a specialty screwdriver, and pretty much I'm not gonna, and I want to talk about these because these are a very important one. All right, so this screwdriver right here is a little bit different. These are vessel screwdrivers, and these screwdrivers are really unique. Now, this is probably one of my favorite screwdrivers. I don't get to use it enough, but it is a JIS vessel. Oh, yeah. And it separates out into a stubby. It's got an adjuster here. You can get different shanks for these. They have these in kits. And these vessels are absolutely amazing. I can't even tell you when it comes right down to it, the number one screwdriver to get, Vessel makes some of the best screwdrivers in the world. And I will say, this is absolutely my number one favorite screwdriver, is this Jaws Fit MEGADORA Screwdriver. You can stick this guy in here. It's not going to hold, it's too tall. I don't have a shorter one. You can stick this guy in here, and she will actually hold in. I probably cammed out this screw a little bit too much. It's been beat up by... That's what happens when you got too many junky screwdrivers. They tear up a screw. There we go. She's sitting in there now. Hands free here, boys. Hands free. Oh, I waved it down. Anyways, when it comes to the best number one screwdriver, and the reason why is this Jaws Fit. Let me actually show you the tips on this. Look at that. Get in there. Let me see if I can pull this back here. A little rigid. See those teeth on there that suck into that screw? Just absolutely a great screwdriver. They have some of the coolest and best screwdrivers on the market. These are JIS. There's three different types. There's a couple different types of screwdrivers: Posi Drive, Standard, and your JIS. And you obviously want to use JIS on all your JIS products, which is Japanese Industrial Standard. We have Vessel ball grips, made in Japan. And then you have the IMPACTA, which this screwdriver turns, and what it does is you beat it on the back. Pow! Pow! And it turns the screw out, breaks the screwdriver out. Now, these have been all over the place. Craftsman used to rebrand these and whatnot. But the IMPACTAs are great screwdrivers. There's also CompoCast screwdrivers from Vessel, and they are not a sponsor. 100% they're not a sponsor. I'm only telling you this because it's what I believe. Using the MEGADORA screwdriver, I lost my other one. This is a replacement, believe it or not. I lost my other one, but I've been using this for a long time. And these things just bite in like nobody's business. They reverse. When you're trying to get a screw out, they reverse out. They go in good. These are great screwdrivers. When it comes right down to it, at the end of the day, Vessel screwdrivers, as long as you get a non-JIS one, these are non-JIS, I'm 100% positive. These are standard screwdrivers. This is a Vessel P2 150. They use the millimeter size 150. But you can see right here, the Jaws Fit deal in Japan. This is actually straight over from Japan. Not only that, the knurling on the MEGADORA screwdrivers is absolutely, just bar none, the best. For turning in a screwdriver, or turning in a screw head quickly and fastly, you can just get in there and get your hand on it and get some nice grip on it. This is why Vessel beats out everything, including Snap-on. In fact, we'll go back to this. When it comes down to it, at the end of the day, as far as king of the screwdrivers, I absolutely think Vessel is the number one winner of this category. A few reasons are just price, quality, overall build quality. The one thing I don't like about these screwdrivers, I will say though, is they call these non-slip. And I honestly don't feel like they're a really good feel. Now, some of the guys, or I've heard people say that some of the other ones, which if you look at these are absolutely really great grips. And these even have a different feel than the MEGADORAs do. So Vessel doesn't have a standard, their grips don't all translate over into the same stuff. But when it comes down to it, the king of the hill for the screwdrivers for me is Vessel. And you know, as far as a DIY guy or somebody who's looking to save a little money, I would definitely say that you can't go wrong with getting a MichaelPro or a Top tool. They're a great screwdriver for the money. Everybody's got to have a budget, and honestly, somebody's probably not going to spend $80 on the Vessels. Definitely not going to buy $300 on the Matco or the Snap-ons. But if you want to spend $30 and you want a decent set of screwdrivers, I don't see really anything can go wrong. These are made in Taiwan. They're a decent screwdriver. They have this, but you can also, they're just like the Snap-ons where you can stick a screwdriver in the handle to break things loose if you need to. The warranty through MichaelPro is all done online. yeah, I just feel like if you really want a screwdriver, though, and you want to get the best bang for your buck, you're probably going to have to go with Vessel. Then probably top, as far as top tier, I'm going to go with Vessel, probably Snap-on, Matco, and the rest is really irrelevant. That's my top three. If I had to put, if you're putting a gun to my head, and once again, these all do different things better. So, but the Vessel does the best in every category, in my opinion. So, anyways, guys, I made another huge long video, and I got to probably edit this down a little bit. Don't know why I'm telling you that, because I'm probably gonna whatever. Anyways, guys, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring that bell. Remember, keep your hands dirty and your money clean. Thanks for watching.